Shalom, everybody, and welcome back. Insights in the Parsha of the week, Parshat Tetzaveh. And before we go on, if you enjoy these classes, please share them on your status, etc. In the Parsha, we go to the vestments of the Kohen Gadol, piece by piece, and the vestments of his sons, and the inauguration sacrifices, right? Of the vestments is the Choshen, which is placed on the pasuk says clearly on the heart of Aharon. It's placed on the chest, but the specification mentioned in the Torah, al libo, on his heart. Not in this week's parsha, but in Parshat Shmot, Rashi says why Aharon merited the Choshen on the heart. It says there in Parshat Shmot, where if you remember, Moshe Rabbeinu was complaining to Hashem, I don't want to go take someone else to be the leader, to take the Jews out of Egypt. Shlach na be'at tishlach, send whoever you're used to sending, which was Aharon. Aharon, Moshe's older brother, was already an acknowledged prophet in Egypt. He was known. He was a prophet already. So Hashem told Moshe, I want you to go, you specifically. And that you're worried, one of the reasons Moshe Rabbeinu was worried of being a prophet to lead the Jews out of Egypt is that he was worried of taking greatness and honor over his older brother. So Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, you don't have anything to worry about that, because that is the greatness of Aharon. The verse says there, Vera'acha v'samach belibo. Not like you think, Moshe Rabbeinu, when Aharon will see you coming back to Egypt to take the Jews out, he'll see you, v'samach belibo, he'll be happy in his heart. So Rashi points out that from this acknowledgement of joy, even though he's my younger brother and I should feel some type of jealousy, what is this? I'm older than him, I'm more experienced, and he's becoming the redeemer of Am Yisrael. Nonetheless, Aharon said, even though he's my younger brother and I could feel jealousy, I don't feel it. I'm happy for him because I know that he is fit and proper to do the job better than me, and I acknowledge that. So Rashi points out that because of his joy, it was so sincere, which is so rare today. Such a sincere joy, Hashem said he merited to the Choshen Mishpat. The Choshen, which was the breastplate, which had the 12 stones, right? 4 rows of 3 stones each, corresponding to the 12 tribes. And in fact, each stone, which was a different type of precious stone, different color, so it had engraved in it the names of the 12 tribes in total, plus Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, plus other words, and also the name of each stone also. Leshem, Yashve, Achlama, okay, Shevo, Odem, Pitda, Bareket, all these, right? Nofech, Sapir, V'Yalom, Leshem, Shevo, Achlama, okay? So all these names were engraved in the 12 stones. So going back, Aharon merited to the breastplate with joy, because of his joy. So the question is, first of all, why does Rashi, quoting the sages, what's the connection between his joy and the breastplate? Okay, so the joy was, it says he was joyous in the heart, so he merited the breastplate. But what's the connection between joy in the heart of Aharon and the breastplate, which was on the chest, on the heart of Aharon? What's the connection here? So we know that the breastplate, the Choshen Mishpat, had a flap inside. It was folded. It was knit in one long piece, and then folded like this. And on the outside part were the 12 stones. Inside the fold, they put inside Hashem's holy name, the ineffable holy name, which can't be erased, and that was put inside. So that when the Kohen Gadol, the high priest from the descendants of Aharon, were asked by the king or the prince, the Nasi or the chief prophet, should we do this, should we do that? So the answer would come out lighting the letters of the alphabet in the 12 tribes, plus Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, plus other words. The Rambam points out you had all the 22 letters of the alphabet in total inside the 12 stones. So the letters would shine, spelling out words. Yes, do this. Yes, do that. Don't do this. And it would give them clarity. It was called Urim, Tumim, V'Tumim. Urim mean like or, light. And Tamim means clear, simple and straightforward and complete. In other words, its answer was complete. In our context, the Urim V'Tumim corresponds to Or, light, mainly the big light of life, which is the infinite light. The Choshen Mishpat, shining for the Jewish people as a whole what to do, is basically the idea that a Jew gains clarity in his life personally. Each individual gaining Urim V'Tumim in his personal life is the idea of, in other words, the clarity in life is the idea of the Urim V'Tumim. When the infinite light of Hashem shines to a person such clarity, there's nothing greater than that. There's nothing greater in life when a person's doubts and his skeptics and his frustrations, when they're all solved. When everything is resolved, that is the greatest joy of life. So in a way, getting clarity in life is like the Urim V'Tumim shining the answer in the letters of the 12 stones, okay? To get to this infinite light, Rabbi Nachman teaches, Likutey Moharan, lesson 24, the key is simcha. Simcha in the heart, and eventually simcha in doing the mitzvot. The verse reads, King David says, Natata simcha belibi. Hashem, you've placed joy in my heart. Showing that the place of simcha, where it's activated, is in the heart. Okay, the Torah points this out in a few places. One of the famous places is in Parshat Vayetze, after Yaakov had his dream, and in the dream of the ladder, Hashem promises Yaakov, I will protect you, and you will come back to this land, and you will be saved. So he was so confident from the dream, and he made an oath to Hashem, if you bring me back here, I will offer such and such and so and so. So he was so happy. The verse says that his heart lifted his legs. Yaakov was able to go fast back to Padan Aram to Lavan, to eventually marry Rachel and Leah. And Rashi points out, Libo nasa et raglav. His heart, from the joy that he had in his heart, it lifted up his legs so they were light in walking. In other words, momentum in life comes from the joy which is found in the heart. In our context, Aharon had such simcha in the role of his brother Moshe Rabbeinu, in that he's going to be the one to take out the Jews, which is a mitzvah. To redeem the Jews from Egypt as Moshe Rabbeinu's personal mitzvah. He was so happy for him, so happy in this mitzvah, that he earned from his joy, which was such a rare joy, an older brother. You're not jealous? No, I'm not jealous. That's rare. That's rare. Once Rabbi Nachman told Rav Nosson, when a person holds on to this, then there's like nothing greater. And Rav Nosson said, I thought this is obvious. For sure I want every fellow Jew to succeed. But Rav Nosson says, as I grew older, I saw that it's not so easy. That a person, as he gets older and he sees his failures and setbacks, and he sees or younger people or people his age or people older than him that are succeeding and going, so he becomes very jealous. Especially an older person towards younger people, Rav Nosson points out. This is all found in Sichot Haran, Rabbi Nachman's wisdom. That the tendency of a person who's older and fell, he sees young people starting, he starts mocking them, insulting them, and trying to break their morale. You're going to fall like I fell. Just wait, see what's waiting for you. You think you're going to hold on to your high level of devotion. You'll see. You're going to go through what I went through, and let's see you hold on then. And that's a natural tendency people have when they see someone else succeeding. And Rav Nosson said, wow. So he saw it is a big thing, that I should be happy for the other person's success. It's not easy. It's not easy. That I work on my midot, that I admit my failures, and I also admit to the other person's his successes and his ability to do better than me, what he's capable of doing. That's not easy. Most people have jealousy. So here Aharon had such simcha. The verse says, "V'sama ra'acha v'samach belibo." Right, and he'll see you, Moshe Rabbeinu, coming back to Egypt, and he'll be happy in his heart. So he showed a high level of joy. I'm not jealous. I'm happy with my portion, who I am, and I'm happy for him also. And if what he does is better than me, great, I have something else to do in life. Why should I be jealous? We're two different people. I have a different mission. I'll do shalom, that's his job, and this is my job. I'm happy. I'm okay with it. Okay? This was the greatness of Aharon. He, Dafka specifically, merited to become the high priest, the Kohen, and also to wear the Choshen Mishpat, which shone, and his descendants, Aharon and his descendants, because of him, that shone clarity. Okay? So now, this is also a message for all of us, that with Simcha, we gain urim betumim, we gain access to the infinite light. Okay? Now, there were 12 stones. Why? Why did the Choshen Mishpat, okay, with its job of showing clarity, why did it require 12 stones corresponding to the 12 tribes? Why was that specific? You already had the 12 tribes engraved on the two stones on the chest, on the shoulders. There was the two longer stones, 6 tribes here, 6 tribes over here. Why again to put again the list of the 12 tribes, but this time in format of 12 stones? What's the idea? So Rav Nosson says amazingly how each of the 12 tribes represent a stepping stone connecting from joy to gaining access to the infinite light. I'll do my best off by heart to remember what I can remember, but let's go through them. The first row on the breastplate had the first 3 sons, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Rav Nosson says Reuven was called Reuven because she said, Leah, Reu, look at the difference between my son who willfully sold his birthright to Yosef, and my father-in-law's son Esav, my uncle, who willfully he sold the birthright, but out of anger, and he wanted to kill Yaakov. Whereas here Reuven had no jealousy; he wanted to save Yosef. Esav wanted to kill Yaakov. So Rav Nosson says the idea of Reuven and making the differentiation between Yosef and Yosef and Esav, sorry, is that a person goes into the exchange chamber of evil, which is representing of Esav, and is able to sift out something good. She said, look at my son. My son is not like Esav. He's better. And that means he's in the domain of Esav. He also sold his birthright. He also had his birthright taken away from him, but he loved Yosef. He also disagreed with the brothers to kill Yosef. He was in disagreement to that. So Rav Nosson says Reuven is the idea of going into the exchange chambers, which Rabbi Nachman mentions is a key how a person elevates joy to come to connect to the infinite light. So that's Reuven. Shimon, he says, refers to Ki Shama Hashem Ki Senua Ani. She said, why did Leah call her son Shimon? It's because Hashem heard that I'm hated. What do you mean Senua? That everyone was mocking Leah. You're gonna fall into the hands of Esav. You're never gonna get married. All these type of things. She said, I was hated. Okay, and in the end, I got a son. If Hashem listened to me. So Rav Nosson says, who in society is normally hated? In Jewish society, who would he call someone who's hated? Someone who rebukes people. A rabbi who goes up the podium and he preaches and preaches. People hate him. People, what is he telling me what to do? This guy, let him go fly a kite. Let him take care of himself. People don't like being rebuked and everything, but you need it. You can't just now, let them do what they want, desecrate Shabbat and everything, and I won't say anything. You can't do that. You have an obligation for the honor of Hashem to let people know that it's wrong. Okay? So a rebuker is hated. And in this lesson, Rabbi Nachman teaches that when a person does mitzvot besimcha, the mitzvah goes to wake up the whole world. So in waking up people, it's also faced with, it's discomfort. When people tell you what to do, even though you know they're right, it hurts. It's not easy to accept rebuke. It's easy to talk about, yes, but it's not easy to receive rebuke. So the person who rebukes is considered hated. Who's he to tell me what to do? But I know he's right. I know he's right what he's saying, but it hurts. I can't believe he stuck up and told me, it's not correct and everything. So someone who rebukes to get people to wake up is hated. In our context, the mitzvah wakes up people, causes an arousal of people to wake up. So they are positively hearing rebuke, but it's hard for them to accept it. It's like bittersweet. Okay, so that's Shimon. Levi is, Rabbi Nachman says in the lesson, that when simcha is aroused and the mitzvah is aroused through doing it b'simcha, so this activates the blessings which are located in the hands. And who are the main people who give blessings in the hands? The priests, the Kohanim. Birkat Kohanim was of the hands, right? Levi is the tribe that the Kohanim came from, okay? And the blessings are a result of simcha, okay? Yehuda is one of the greatest formats of being joyous, which is hoda'ah, giving thanks. He was called Yehuda because thanks was given, okay? So that's Yehuda. Yisachar is one who, the great Torah scholars, the greatest Torah scholars from the tribe of Yisachar. And there's no greater joy in the world, believe it or not, than learning Torah. The verse says clearly, Pekudei Hashem Yesharim Mesamche Lev. The edicts of the Torah of Hashem are straightforward and they bring joy to the heart. So Torah study, okay? Zvulun is an amazing thing. Zvulun went out to make business, to bring in money to support Yisachar. So Zvulun had to face the working world, which is a lot of klipot, a lot of evil forces, and in a sense, going out to work, person has to face the grind of the Heichal Tumor, the exchange chambers. And Zvulun, the verse says clearly, Smach Zvulun betzetecha. Zvulun was so happy because I'm going to work. I'm going to work in order to bring in money to support my brother Yisachar that he can learn Torah. He was happy. I have a part in his Torah. I'm doing the hard work. I'm going to the business world and I have to deal, right? The stone connected to Zvulun is called Yahalom. Yahalom is like diamonds. He's in the diamond business, the diamond exchange, the bursa. Okay, that's Zvulun. And yet it's a grind. It's difficult. It's like the exchange chambers of business, of money, making money, give and take, and there's a lot of sparks being transferred. Rabbi Nachman goes into this in detail in lesson 56 of the Likutey Moharan. Okay, there's a lot of, and also lesson 54. There's a lot of grind. There's a lot of grind and difficulty, and it requires work to release. Okay, so that's Zvulun. Then we have to remember this carefully. 1 second. We'll skip around because I remember the right exact order they are in the breastplate. Dan, yes, Dan. Dan is called Dan, which is dinim. Dinim is another term for sadness. When Rabbi Nachman says when there's sadness and depression, that's called tokpa dedina, strict judgment. And Dan was able to lift out from the judgments to mitigate it through simcha. That's why it was called Dan. That he successfully represents being able to go into the strict judgment mode and to come out of that. That's the idea of Dan. Okay? You have then Naphtali. Naphtali, he's called swift like a hind. Naphtali ayal shlucha. That's the idea that when like Yaakov, his heart lifted his legs and he was able to walk fast. So Naphtali is the idea that the mitzvah causes momentum and speed, like Naphtali. Okay? God was called the warrior that was able to cut off the arms of the soldiers of the enemies with their head. Zroa af kod, in the blessing that Yaakov gave to the tribe of Gad, or Moshe, that was able to cut off the arm. That means he's able to rectify, like Levi. Levi is the blessing of the Kohanim. God was able to cut off the evil aspect of the hands in order for there to be the good aspect of the blessings of the hands due to doing the mitzvot with joy. Then you have Asher, which is what? Asher is Ashreinu. How fortunate are we? A person who is happy, there's giving thanks to Hashem, and there's a person appreciating it. The actual appreciation, there's giving thanks, Hoda'ah, which is Yehuda, and then there's Ashreinu, okay? Now, Yosef is the idea. This is a bit tricky. I have to remember how exactly it goes. Please forgive me. I remember off by heart everything. I did my best. So Yosef, I have to see where this is. Yosef and Binyamin. Yosef is Shemar Tabrit. 1 second, let's see this. Chadgalut. Okay. Yosef, and we'll go into it eventually, Bezat Hashem. Here we go. Yes, okay. Yosef, Rav Nosson points out, is the idea of hitlahavut. A person who is becomes so covered up with dust because of his sadness and depression. A person, when he's down, it's as if he becomes heavy and covered up with dust. And the heart can't be mitlahev. So Yosef, Rav Nosson shows, is the idea of Yosef is like tosef ruach, an addition, a new spirit of wind to help a person be revived. When a person is sad and depressed, he needs someone to come along and to blow off the afrurit, all the dust that's accumulated on a person's heart, not letting him to be happy and to be enthusiastic in his avodah Hashem. That's the idea of Yosef, which is a prerequisite to coming to joy. Okay, the idea of the tzaddik, by the way. And Binyamin is the idea of the holy temple, because the Beit HaMikdash, the holy of holies and the Mizbeach, was in the place of Binyamin. Binyamin, right? It says that he received the part that the Beit HaMikdash was in his part. That's why Yaakov cried on Binyamin's neck twice. He cried twice on him because of the two temples that were destroyed in his part. And Binyamin cried once on Yosef because of the temple in Shiloh, which is in the piece of Menashe and Ephraim's land. So Beit HaMikdash, what does it have to do? That's the main place of the revelation of the Urim V'Tumim. The Kohen Gadol wears the vestments in the Holy Temple, meaning that's the place where the infinite light shines its light for all Am Yisrael. So in the 12 stones, you have the 12 tribes, and all the 12 tribes represent pieces of the procedure, how to jump from Simcha to experiencing the infinite light. We should be zoche on a personal level to work on activating all 12 tribes in our lives, which are the 12 months, and each person has access to all these 12 attributes and activities and advice that a person can do, representing all the 12 tribes, in order to activate the infinite light through being besimcha. Shabbat Shalom.